Today, Noam Shalit told journalists shortly after Gilad and family arrived home in Mitspe Hila, "Today our son was reborn." Today, the family completes its long and exhausting journey that began in June 2006 and finished October 17, 2011, Noam said. After being held in isolation in a dark basement, it is hard for Gilad to appear before so many people. He said Gilad told them that while he had access to radio and limited television, he was unable to speak Hebrew and sometimes spoke to his captors. Gilad feels well but suffers from a number of injuries, including shrapnel wounds that were not treated properly during his captivity. Gilad also suffers from repercussions due to lack of sunlight from the years he was held captive in the dark. He said Gilad told them that in the first years of captivity, conditions were harsh but improved in recent years. He thanked the crowd gathered outside their home, the public, and the activists who supported the family, and also the IDF, police, and the government of Israel. He also thanked the families of terror victims for the heavy price they paid for Gilad's freedom. Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit, accompanied by his parents and brother and sister, returned to his home in Mitspe Hila Tuesday afternoon, 5 years and 4 months after he was taken captive. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met Shalit as he stepped off the helicopter at the Tel Nof Air Base at noon, where his parents, brother, sister, and grandfather waited to greet him. Shalit, who was released wearing civilian clothing, had changed into an IDF uniform after undergoing initial medical tests at the military base near Gaza, where he also spoke on the phone to his parents. Prior to his arrival in Israel, the Egyptian television broadcasted the first images of Shalit's steps to freedom as he was forced to undergo an interview on Egyptian television before he was handed over to Israeli officials. During the interview, he said he was informed of the pending release a week ago, but feared something would happen to prevent it from occurring, and he would remain captive for years. He said he missed his family and looked forward to meeting and speaking with people. At Tel Nof, Gilad saluted Netanyahu, who hugged him and welcomed him home, and also saluted Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Benny Gantz, and shook hands with Defense Minister Ehud Barak. The three accompanied him as he walked towards his father, Noam Shalit. His reunion with the family was closed to the media, but later the IDF spokesman, Brigadier General Yoav Mordechai, revealed details of Shalit's captivity. Mordechai said during the years Gilad was held captive in Gaza, he had access to the radio and television and was up to date on events in the region. En route to Tel Nof Air Base in the helicopter, Shalit, clearly tired and weak, fell ill and received medical attention before landing. After a clearly emotional reunion with his parents, Gilad underwent intensive medical tests to evaluate his condition. IDF officials said it appears Gilad is suffering from malnutrition and vitamin D, which attests to the fact that he had been confined indoors throughout his captivity. At 4 p.m., Gilad and his family boarded a military helicopter for the last leg of their journey to Mitspe Hila. As the helicopters approached the community, they circled overhead, allowing Gilad, who sat in the cockpit, a view of the crowd waiting below. Scores of residents from Gilad's hometown lined the roads leading to his home, holding Israeli flags and sporting T-shirts that said, "How good it is to have you home." As the convoy reached Mitspe Hila, the crowd cheered, waving flags, and called out, "Gilad, welcome home." Addressing journalists shortly after greeting Gilad Shalit at Tel Nof, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the entire country is united in joy and pain. Since taking up office, there was not a day that went by without efforts to secure Gilad's release, Netanyahu said. He warned that if any of the 477 Palestinian prisoners released in the deal return to terror, they do so at their own risk. The decision to go ahead with the deal was one of the hardest he has ever made. As a leader who sends IDF soldiers every day to defend Israeli citizens, Netanyahu declared that he believes that mutual responsibility is not just a slogan, but one of the foundations of our existence here. Israel said Netanyahu stood firmly on two demands in the Egyptian-mediated negotiations: that the Hamas leadership remain behind bars, and that those serving multiple life sentences be deported to Gaza or abroad. Israel is different than its enemies, he said. Here we do not celebrate the release of murderers. Here we do not raise on our shoulders those who cut off life. To the contrary, we believe in the sanctity of life. We sanctify life. That is an ancient tradition of the Jewish people. Defense Minister Ehud Barak said the prisoner's release has many risks, but Israel will act to prevent those risks from endangering the people of Israel. Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Benny Gantz said the return of Gilad to Israel was closure for the country, for Gilad, and for the Shalit family. The army, he said, will stand with the Shalit family the whole way.